On a quiet Tuesday afternoon, Ashley Monroe worked the express lane at Freshway, her hands moving in a rhythm she could perform in her sleep. A man in a light gray sport coat walked down the aisle, holding a small bouquet of yellow flowers as if they were a passport.
He's heading straight for my register.
He stopped at her lane and placed the yellow flowers on the conveyor belt without a single grocery item.
Ashley, 7 years ago, you chased me 2 blocks down the street for $3. I never forgot your face.
Ashley's eyes dropped to the yellow petals, then back to the stranger's face. She hadn't thought about that afternoon in years.
That was you? How do you even remember that? It was $3.
That day changed my whole life. I have been looking for you ever since.
Looking for me? Who is this man? And what does he really want?
But the real reason he had spent 7 years searching for her was a secret Ashley could never have prepared for. The customer had paid and walked away, but 3 $1 bills lay forgotten on the conveyor belt. The printed receipt fluttered with the words he hadn't noticed. Change due. $3.
He left his money. Somebody has to catch him.
Ashley didn't think. She snatched the bills, sprinted out the automatic doors, and ran. 2 blocks later, she spotted him. He was walking slowly, head bowed, as if the air itself pushed down on his shoulders.
Sir, wait, please. You forgot your change.
He stopped, turned. His eyes were wet, but not from the weather. My change.
She pressed the 3 crumpled bills into his hand. He stared at them, then at her, as if he were memorizing her face.
What's your name?
She said, Ashley. He whispered it once, pocketed the $3, and walked off. She never saw him again. The memory dissolved. Ashley stood behind the register, the yellow bouquet still resting between them.
I am that man. I've thought about those $3 every single day for 7 years.
But who are you? Why would you come back now?
My name is Daniel Mercer. Last month, I purchased this entire grocery chain.
You bought Freshway? You own the store?
I own the whole company. $80 million so I could find the woman who returned my $3.
Ashley's fingers went cold. The hum of the conveyor belt became a distant whine.
This can't be real. 80 million for me. What did I do besides run 2 blocks?
It wasn't about the money. It was about what you did that day. Something far bigger than you know.
And that something was the secret Daniel had carried for 7 years. A secret that would tear through Ashley's understanding of one small kindness.
$3. You bought an entire company because of $3? People lose more than that in the parking lot.
It wasn't about the money. That day I needed something I can't explain in a checkout lane.
Then explain it. You owe me that much.
He hesitated, glancing at the line forming behind him. Not here. When's your shift over?
6 o'clock.
I'll be in the parking lot. We can talk somewhere quiet.
She nodded, a cold weight settling in her chest. Daniel picked up the bouquet from the conveyor and handed it to her. These are for you. A small thank you for chasing me.
Why can't he just say what happened? Something is very wrong.
She agreed, and the rest of her shift passed in a fog of anxiety and impossible curiosity. At 6:10, Ashley followed Daniel into the store manager's cluttered office. He shut the door and sat across from her like a man facing a jury.
That afternoon, I left this store. I walked straight toward the Hernando de Soto Bridge. Not to cross it. To reach the edge.
The edge? Why?
I had given myself a deadline. Exactly 6 o'clock. I remember looking at the car clock. 5:55. 5 minutes left.
In her mind, she saw worn shoes on a concrete ledge, a wallet abandoned on the railing, a note nobody was meant to read.
I set my wallet down with a letter inside, and I gripped the railing so hard my hands went numb.
His voice splintered. He stared at the wall, not at her.
The deadline. 6 o'clock. You were going to.
He nodded, eyes wet. I never got the chance, because a voice called out and a hand touched my sleeve.
The cramped office held the weight of what he couldn't say. She understood. She hadn't returned change. She had interrupted a goodbye.
The deadline, 6 o'clock. You were going to jump off the Hernando de Soto Bridge.
Yes, I was going to end my life that day. I had it all planned. Then you ran after me. By the time I looked at my watch, it was 6:10. My deadline had passed.
That missed deadline broke the spell. He never climbed that railing, never wrote another letter.
An hour later, a stranger found me crying on a bench and took me to a support group. You saved my life, Ashley. That's the only reason I am here.
I didn't know. I just wanted to give you your change.
He spent the next 7 years clawing his way back. Therapy, small business loans, late nights, building something from nothing.
Every decision I made, I carried your face in my mind. I had to find you and say thank you.
And now he was sitting in a cramped office, holding nothing back, waiting for her to speak. Ashley's composure shattered. She pressed her hand to her mouth, shoulders trembling. For a long moment, neither spoke. The only sound was the distant hum of the store's refrigeration.
After I found my feet, I realized I had no name, no address, just a face burned into my memory.
From his inside pocket, he slid a photograph across the metal desk. A security camera still, her at this same register, scanning groceries.
He kept this all these years? A picture of me just doing my job?
This photograph kept me going. Every dark night, I looked at it and remembered. A stranger ran after me. I mattered enough for that.
He told her about the therapy, the church support groups, where he learned to speak his pain aloud. He showed her a worn notebook filled with business plans, the seed of the fortune he later built.
You didn't just return $3. You gave me more time, and I used every second to get back here.
And now that he was here, he was ready to offer something that would change her life, just as completely as she had changed his.
I want to give you something. A gift. Name any amount. 100,000, 200, and it's yours.
Number. I didn't do it for money. I won't take a single dollar.
I should have known, but I need to do something. What if I offered you a job? Not a handout, a real position. Regional Employee Experience Director.
Employee Experience Director? What would that even mean?
You would shape how every cashier, every stocker, every frontline worker in this chain is treated, make their lives better.
A chance to change things for people like me. Could I actually do that?
You know exactly what needs to change. You've lived it. No one else can do this.
I'd have the power to actually improve things.
The offer hung in the air, not a gift, but a challenge. And Ashley had never been one to back down from a challenge.
Give me tonight. I need to think about this.
She went home to her small apartment and sat in the dark, the yellow flowers in a jar on the table.
If I take this, I can change their lives. Wages, respect, safety, the things that break us. She called her mother. A man offered me a job to run the whole region because of $3. In her mind, her mother's voice came back. Baby, God sent that man back to you. You don't turn your back on a door, he opens.
Ashley sat on the edge of her bed long after the call ended. The photograph Daniel gave her resting beside her.
I'll take the job, but I am not leaving my lane. The front line is where the truth is.
She decided the first policy must be real wages, enough to live, not just survive. By morning, she had a handwritten list of conditions she would demand. She walked back into Freshway with terms nobody expected. Ashley met Daniel in the conference room and slid a handwritten paper across the table. I accept, but I am not doing this quietly.
First condition. Every cashier makes at least 20% above the local market wage. That's non-negotiable. Second, I keep my Wednesday shift at my register. I am not leaving the front line.
Daniel read the list slowly. Then he looked up, eyes steady. I expected something like this. The wage increase. It's already approved. The Wednesday shift. That's your lane for life, if you want it.
They shook hands. No cameras. No ceremony, just two people agreeing on what mattered. By 3 that afternoon, a printed notice went up on the break room bulletin board. Immediate cashier wage increase 20% above market. In the break room, employees crowded around, some stunned, some grinning. A young cashier whispered, "My rent just got easier." Ashley clipped a new name tag onto her red polo. Ashley, regional director. But underneath, she kept her old cashier badge. The first Wednesday was circled on her calendar in red ink, and she was ready. Wednesday morning arrived bright and ordinary. Ashley clipped on her director badge and took her place at the express lane.
This is where I belong. Behind this register, where the real work happens.
At exactly 10, the automatic doors slid open, and Daniel walked in carrying a small basket and a fresh bouquet of yellow flowers. He set the bouquet on the conveyor, the blooms bright against the black belt, then added a carton of milk and a loaf of bread. Ashley scanned his items in silence, the beep of the register filling the space between them.
Hello, Ashley.
Hello, Daniel.
Thank you for everything.
She didn't look down. She held his gaze and nodded once, a small, steady motion that needed no translation. And just like that, the first Wednesday of their new routine was etched into the rhythm of the store. By the third Wednesday, the scene repeated. Daniel, flowers, milk, bread. The ritual felt permanent.
The flowers vary, but the meaning never changes.
In the break room, a cashier whispered, "The owner shops at Ashley's Lane every Wednesday." Another employee added, "I heard it started with $3. She chased him 2 blocks. Customers noticed. The cashiers smiled more, and the lines moved faster. The store glowed warmer, its new signage catching the afternoon sun. On Saturdays, a community table appeared outside. Free coffee, no mandate, just because. Daniel's company grew, but his Wednesday morning remained untouchable. One afternoon, a receipt printed. Change due, $3. Ashley paused, then smiled. The story was never announced. It lived in the space between the aisles, carried by those who understood. A Wednesday arrived when the light fell through the windows at a different angle, making the yellow petals glow. Daniel set the bouquet down without a word. Same as always, but his hand lingered a second longer on the stems. Ashley's hand stopped mid-scan. She looked at the flowers, then up at his face, and the years fell away. Neither spoke. The memory of the confession in the cramped office passed between them like a shared breath.
We've come so far, from $3 to this silence.
She knows. She's always known.
The pause held for 3 heartbeats. Then Ashley pressed the scan button, and the beep filled the silence. She handed him the receipt, and their fingers brushed, a tiny touch that needed no apology. He picked up the bouquet and offered it across the scanner. She took it and smelled the petals, a ritual now. He walked out, and she placed the flowers in a jar under her register. Another Wednesday, another Wednesday, another wordless thank you. A year of Wednesdays had passed, and the ritual was so natural that even the security cameras seemed to lean in.
You know, I'd pay $80 million all over again just for these Wednesday mornings.
Ashley laughed, a short, bright sound. 80 million for a grocery line? You could have just left me a tip.
A tip wouldn't have given me the same view, or the same $3 in change.
The register beeped its final total, and the receipt curled out with a familiar line. Change due, $3.
Still, the best change I ever gave.
And the best investment I ever made.
They both laughed, a sound that surprised even them. Light and unguarded, the receipt lay on the counter, the number 3 glowing like a secret code between them. The weight of the past had become light enough to carry without noticing. In the quiet before opening, the empty store held a truth. $3 had rerouted a life, rebuilt a man, and reshaped a company. A single bill, folded, worn, traded, had carried a man off a bridge and into a boardroom. The change due now meant more than balance. It meant second chances and better paychecks. By now, every cashier in the region earned a wage that didn't require a second job. What started as a chase down a Memphis sidewalk had become a policy that touched hundreds of families. And the $3? It never stayed spent. It lived in every receipt, every smile, every Wednesday. The store itself had become a quiet proof that small kindnesses are not small at all, and the man who once stood on a bridge now walked through those automatic doors each week, carrying flowers. The math was impossible. $3 plus 7 years equaled more than 80 million, because the real currency wasn't the money. It was the moment someone decided to run. One slow Wednesday, a young cashier from the evening shift lingered near Ashley's lane, watching. Why does the owner always come to your register? The new girl asked on her break.
He once left behind $3 in change. I chased him 2 blocks to give it back. That's all it took.
The new cashier's eyes went wide. $3, that's it?
It wasn't the money, it was that someone noticed he'd forgotten something.
Later, in the break room, the young cashier shared what she'd heard, and the story rippled outward. The legend of the $3 became the quiet anthem of Freshway. Ashley never added to it. The truth didn't need decoration. The new cashier started counting change with extra care, double-checking every receipt, because small acts she just learned are never small at all. The evening shift ended in a purple dusk, and Ashley found Daniel waiting by her car in the parking lot.
I've been thinking. We're expanding to new states next year. I want you to build the employee culture from the ground up.
Across all the new stores, not just this region?
All of them. The same wage policy. The same frontline respect. That's yours to design.
She stopped beside his sedan and looked at him, not as a boss, but as someone who had walked off a bridge and built something from nothing.
I'll do it, but only if I can keep coming back here. This lane stays mine.
It's already yours, and every new store will have an Ashley lane, or maybe an Ashley plaque.
They stood for a moment in the quiet parking lot, the streetlights just flickering on.
Thank you for saying yes for everything.
She climbed into her car, but not before giving a small wave, the same wave she'd once used to flag him down on a sidewalk. Months later, at the regional chain meeting, Ashley stepped to the front of a conference room filled with managers and cashiers alike.
7 years ago, a customer left $3 on my conveyor belt. I chased him 2 blocks to give it back.
She told them that dignity wasn't a bonus. It was the baseline cost of doing business. In the back, Daniel sat with his hands folded, pride pulling at the corners of his mouth.
So let's make every checkout lane a place where people know they matter, starting with how we pay them.
After the speech, a local news crew interviewed them outside the store. Ashley answered simply, without embellishment. That evening, an article appeared online, from cashier to director. The $3 story. The $3 story. The screen glowed with the headline. In his office later, Daniel looked at the framed photograph of the Freshway store. He didn't need a headline to understand. Ashley was already back at her register by Wednesday, scanning groceries, the yellow bouquet fresh on her counter. The story had become public, but the rhythm remained the same. Later that same day, after the news crews packed up, Daniel found Ashley tidying her register and asked her to his office.
Seeing you up there, telling the truth so plainly, I have never been prouder of another human being.
You gave me the platform, Daniel. Without you, I'd still be just a cashier, and I'd still be happy.
They stood in a comfortable silence, the yellow bouquet on his desk catching the last light of the day.
No, Ashley. You gave me the platform 7 years ago, on that sidewalk. You returned my hope.
She smiled, not because he needed the answer, but because they both already knew it.
Then we're even. $3. One Wednesday at a time.
He nodded, and for a long moment, the only sound was the distant beep of a cash register from downstairs.
I'll see you Wednesday, Ashley.
You always do.
Another Wednesday shimmered in, and Ashley clipped her director badge next to her cashier pin. Daniel walked in right at 10. Same as always, a bouquet of yellow flowers in the crook of his arm. He didn't need to look for her lane. He set the flowers on the conveyor, then added milk, bread, and a carton of eggs. And a carton of eggs.
Good morning, Ashley. Same as it ever was.
Good morning, Daniel. Same as it ever will be.
The scanner beeped through his few items, and the receipt unfurled with a line that never got old. Change due. $3.
$3. After all this time, it still hits the same.
She handed him the bouquet across the scanner. He didn't take a receipt. They had already balanced the books. Sometimes, the smallest moments are the ones that carry the most weight. And every Wednesday was a reminder. One morning before the store opened, a small brass plaque appeared on the express lane. No ceremony, just a quiet decision. It read simply, Ashley's Lane. No explanation, just her name, etched in metal, and a single yellow flower someone had tucked behind it. She saw it when she clocked in. Her hand touched the metal for just a second. Then she pulled on her apron and started her shift. A customer later that day paused, read the plaque, and smiled at her. Ashley's Lane. I like that.
Me too. It's been a good lane.
Life went on at Freshway. The store hummed with the same old sounds, but the lane named Ashley held a story that would outlast them all. And not far away, in a modest apartment, a yellow bouquet sat in a jar, as fresh as the day a man walked in. Looking for a stranger, the plaque stayed, the lane stayed, and every Wednesday, at exactly 10, the automatic stores slid open for a bouquet of yellow flowers. $3, 7 years, 2 people, and a grocery store where everybody knew your name, because someone once bothered to ask. And the conveyor belt kept moving, carrying with it the unspoken truth that kindness, however small, is never wasted. A cashier ran 2 blocks with 3 damp dollar bills curled in her hand, unaware she was carrying a lifeline. A man walked toward the Hernando de Soto Bridge, believing he had nothing left to offer the world. The bridge stayed silent. The deadline passed without a single witness. Yellow flowers appeared each Wednesday morning, a silent promise of gratitude that needed no words. $3 lay on a conveyor belt, the smallest hinge on which a life could swing. The receipt still prints change due, $3, but the true balance has never been measured in currency. The store lights glow warm against the Memphis night, a living testament to second chances. A creased bill, worn soft by 7 years of memory, worth more than any fortune. He still comes every Wednesday, flowers in hand, a ritual unchanged and unspoken. $3, 7 years, 2 lives, and a grocery store where everybody knows your name.